So Fidel Castro ruled Cuba as a tyrant for decades. Probably shouldn't surprise you that his apparent son, Justin Trudeau, is trying to do the same to Canada. Justin Trudeau has jailed one of the leading organizers of the Canadian Freedom Convoy, which committed no violence. It formed to protest his lunatic vaccine mandates. We're getting an update on that case because we think it informs what's happening in our country. That's straight ahead. For decades, Americans used to make fun of Canada for being boring. Oh, it's all Molson and sled dogs, the great white waste of time. All right, well, things got pretty exciting in Canada when it descended into authoritarianism. The leader of Canada, effectively a dictator now, banned handguns. He also outlawed freedom of speech. Earlier this year, Justin Trudeau's government arrested a woman called Tamara Lich. Her crime was organizing a protest against vaccine mandates, not hurting anybody, speaking her views. Here she was in February.
It's not an illegal protest. It's in our Charter of Rights and Freedoms.
And so what's your response then if you do get arrested, if you're the next person that police do arrest?
I'd love it if you'd speak louder.
She wants to know what my response would be if I get arrested.
What's the response? Hold the line!
Hold the line.
So for complaining about Justin Trudeau's complete mismanagement of his once great country, she was jailed for 18 days. Then when she was released on bail, Justin Trudeau had her jailed again. Why? What was the crime? Well, she appeared in a photograph with someone Justin Trudeau doesn't like. Thankfully, there is at least one check or balance left in Canada. Wednesday, a judge ordered her released from jail. Keith Wilson is her attorney. He joins us now. Mr. Wilson, thanks so much for coming on. So are we overstating or oversimplifying what happened to your client? Did she commit some violent crime that we're not aware of?
No, she committed the most minor crime that we have in our criminal code, Tucker, and it's called the crime of mischief. It's the same crime that the police, if they find teenagers misbehaving in a park, they'll threaten them with to get them to go home and back to the basement. It's remarkable what's happened here. As you know well, our prime minister has expressed admiration for two different government systems in the world. One is communist China, and the other is his dear friend, or perhaps more, the Castro's Cuba. And we're no longer the true north, strong and free.
No longer a free country, and I say that with great sadness as a genuine admirer of Canada. So I wonder, is anyone noticing? I mean, if your prime minister jails a woman and tries to keep her there without bail because she complained about him, that seems like a human rights violation of the most serious magnitude. Has anyone said anything about this?
Well, it's more than a human rights violation, as you can appreciate, and what Americans need to understand is this is a deliberate attempt by the Trudeau government to intimidate Canadians. Look what Tamara did. She inspired not only Canadians, thousands of truckers to drive to Ottawa, to stand for their rights and stand against the authoritarian overreach from these COVID policies. But she also inspired protests around the world. And the Prime Minister, I think, wants to send a message to Canadians that if you dare challenge me, and challenge my view of what living under my reign should look like, you will suffer consequences. She's a 49-year-old grandmother and mother, no criminal record. She spent 49 days in jail under ridiculous and troubling circumstances.
Last question briefly. Has the United States government, has our State Department lodged a protest against this horrifying abuse?
They haven't, but what's happening, which is really important, is even people who are kind of middle of the road or bought the COVID mandate line are starting to question whether our fundamental institutions up here are becoming corrupt. You know, that to see this happen, to see a nonviolent citizen with no criminal record spend this time of jail, be rounded up by homicide detectives, paraded in chains and shackles, flown through airports across our country to go to be put in a jail cell in Ottawa, has really shaken a lot of people's sensibilities about how badly off track things are up in Canada.
Good. Well, I hope it awakens them. I really do. Keith Wilson, thank you for all the work you're doing on her behalf and on your country's behalf. Appreciate it.
Thank you.